Well, in the last lecture, we started with the counting and combinatorics. The counting and combinatorics, we have seen that counting can be done in two ways. One is using sum principle, another is by product principle. Then we moved on to the binomial coefficient, then we have seen the Pascal's triangle. As part of this module, the next topic is pigeonhole principle. This is the most popular principle which is used in many probability theories as well as in the cryptography also. So what this principle says? So the pigeonhole principle says that the theorem is like this: if k is a positive integer and k plus 1 or more objects are placed into k boxes. So k is a positive integer and k plus 1 or more objects are placed into k boxes, then there is at least one box containing two or more objects. This is what the theorem is. So that will, to make it understanding or to make it very easy, I will give you one example here. If k is positive integer, here k is the number of students, assume like that. K is the number of students in a class. And k plus 1 or more objects are placed into k boxes. That will make like this. K is the number of days in a year. K is the number of days in a year. So around 365 days. K plus 1 are more objects. So k plus 1 are more students are placed into k days. Then there is at least one box containing two or more objects. For example, if you might have placed k plus 1 or more students' birthday on the days of the month. That is around 365 days are there. 365 or more. Number of students, date of birth was placed in the, if you arrange in the day, in the particular year, at least one day there will be there, one day will be there where, okay, it will be birthday of two students, right? So this is what the principle of, which is called pigeonhole principle. Suppose that none of the k boxes contain more than one object, then the total number of objects would be at most k. So obviously this is the contradiction that there is at least k plus 1 objects. So this is called proof by contradiction. We are taking the opposite side of that and we are disproving it so that the original one is true. So this is also called as Dirichlet-Breuer principle, and this is also called as Dirichlet distribution, which is the base distribution for the binomial distribution. So from which the binomial distribution has been drawn. So it says that okay, there is a possibility of true or false if you pick up any box. If you pick up any box, so there may be possibility of having one object or more than one object. So true or false. So actually binomial distribution is also like that only. You will calculate the number of trues and false. So this is what the Dirichlet-Breuer principle, which is the base principle for many of the true and false like of distributions. A function f from a set with k plus 1 or more elements to a set with k elements is not one-to-one. So because there are more number of data items are there, that is k plus 1 is more, and but k is k only, because k plus 1 is more than, that is greater than the k. So obviously the mapping will not be one-to-one. By looking at this only you can confirm that so at least one box will be having more than one element. Suppose that for each element y in the codomain of f, we have a box that contains all elements of x, all elements x of the domain f, such that f of x is equal to y. As the domain contains k plus 1 or more elements and the codomain contains only k elements, the pigeonhole principle tells us that one of these boxes contain two or more elements, that is elements x of the domain. This means that f cannot be one-to-one. Just by looking at the corollary itself, you can come to know that whenever there are more number of elements in one set, you cannot go for one-to-one mapping. Suppose that a flock of 20 pigeons flies into a set of 19 pigeonholes to rest. So here k plus 1 is the number of pigeons and k is the number of pigeonholes. So suppose that a flock of 20 pigeon flies into a set of 19 pigeonholes to rest. Thus, at least one of these 19 pigeonholes must have at least 2 pigeons. Why? If each pigeonhole had at most 1 pigeon in it, so at most 19 pigeons, 1 per hole. So could be accommodated. Obviously, the 20th one, which is there, has to be accommodated in any one of the hole. So obviously, at least 1 hole will be there, which is having 2 pigeons. So 13 pigeons and 12 pigeonholes. So here is an example. So this is the permutations. You can assume many number of permutations like this, but in all possible permutations, you can get at least. Sometimes you may find one slot with more than 2 pigeons also. If I ask you the question like how many students must be in class to guarantee that at least 2 students receive the same score on the final exam, if the exam is graded on the scale from 0 to 100 points. How many students must be in the class to guarantee that at least 2 students receive the same score on the final exam if the exam is graded on the scale from 0 to 100. Now 0 to 100 is the k. So at least you should have k plus 1. So if you might have done copying, then you will get more number of things. So 0 is also included in this. So now it is 101. Okay. So now it is 102. So 1 to 100 means 100. So 0 to 100, so you have taken this. Another example, it's dark, you know that your drawer there are. So here there are soxes. Here 12 soxes are there and 10 soxes are there. So, but you can't see a thing, how many soxes should you get to guarantee a correct pair? What does it have to do with the pigeonhole principle? So here are the drawers in which you have soxes. Okay. How many soxes should you get to guarantee a correct pair? So you are supposed to get the 3 soxes, then only you can get so one hole per color. Among any group of 367 people, there must be at least 2 with the same birthday. Just now I have given you an example. So birthday is one which is mostly celebrated in school days. So if there are a group of 367 people, there must be at least 2 with the same birthday. Because the reason is a year is having 365 days. So obviously 367 means 367 minus 365, 2. So at least 2 members will be having the same. If n objects are placed, this is a generalized pigeonhole principle. Now we have seen, previously we have seen the examples and we understood what is meant by pigeonhole principle. Now it is a mathematical representation, which is a generalized pigeonhole principle. If n objects are placed into k boxes, then there is at least one box containing at least n by k objects. Here, if you look at the bracket like this, say if you look at the representation, the above some bar and representation like this is called upper bound. Okay. For example, n by k, n is 100 and k is 10, k is 3 or something. So 100 by 3 is 33.33, something like that. Now it is upper bound, means you are supposed to take 34. If you find the same in the below, that is like this, Okay, then it's at a lower bound. 33.33 means you have to take 33 ohm. This is called upper bound and lower bound. So in mathematics, we will represent the upper bound like this. So if n objects are placed into k boxes, then there is at least one box containing at least n by k upper bound objects. So here we are going for proof by contradiction. Suppose that none of the boxes containing more than n by k minus 1 objects. Then total number of objects is at most n by k minus 1 is less than k into n by k plus 1 minus 1, which is equal to n. So where the inequality holds, inequality that is n by k is less than n by k plus 1 is used, so that this is going to be contradicted. There are total n objects. So if you don't understand this, no problem, but you try to remember this. If there are n objects to be placed in k boxes, then there will be upper bound n by k objects will be there. So common type of problems ask for a minimum number of objects such that at least r of these objects must be in one of the k boxes. Then these objects are distributed among boxes. So repeatedly the same thing is going to be explained, but with some mathematical proof they are going to try. They are going to explain here. So anyhow, you might have understood the concept of pigeonhole principle. But only thing is you try to remember these theorems. Recall that when we have n objects, the generalized pigeonhole principle tells us there must be at least r objects in one of the boxes as long as n by k is greater than or equal to r. That is, as we have just now we have seen here in this theorem. Recall n by k plus 1 is greater than n by k because k plus 1 objects, if they are there, and if you want to try to place in k boxes, then only you will get this. At least one box should be having more than one object. So the smallest integer n with n by k is greater than r minus 1. That is, so the number of objects will be like this: k of r minus 1 plus 1. So this is what the thing is: smallest integer satisfying the inequality n by k greater than or equal to r. That means when you have this n objects, the generalized pigeonhole principle tells us there must be at least r objects. So you have, for example, you have k slots, and n is the number of objects. N is the number of objects. Then to hold pigeonhole principle, at least there should be r objects, so that you can make the formula like this: n is equal to k of r minus 1 plus 1. Okay, you are supposed to remember this formula. If any question was given like this, then you want to get how many number of objects will be there. So just by substituting in this formula, you are supposed to get this. So is the smallest integer satisfying the inequality n by k is greater than or equal to r. Among 100 people, there are at least 100 by 12, which is upper bound is 9, who were born in the same month. What is the minimum number of students required in a discrete mathematics class to be sure that at least 6 will receive the same grade if there are 5 possible grades? What is the minimum number of students required in a discrete mathematics class to be sure that at least 6 will receive the same grade? Okay, at least 6 will receive the same grade if there are 5 possible grades. Look at the formula. The minimum number of students needed to ensure at least 6 students receive the same grade out of A, B, C, D, E, and F is the smallest integer n by 5 is equal to 6. So here n is equal to 5 into 5 plus 1. At least 26 members must be there to get this. So same formula, just we are using here and substituting the values. So one thing is, I recommend if you don't understand the theorem, just remember the formula at least. How many cards must be selected from a standard deck of 52 cards to guarantee that at least 3 cards of the same suit are chosen? So how many cards must be selected from a standard deck of 52 cards? Now here n is 52. That is at least 3 cards. So now k is 3. Now you should find r. Suppose there are 4 boxes, one of each suit. If n cards are selected using generalized pigeonhole principle, there is at least one box containing n by 4 cards. Thus, to have n by 4 greater than or equal to 3, 2 into 4 plus 1 is equal to 9. So that at least 9 cards are need to be selected to have at least 3 cards common. This is again, how many cards must be selected to guarantee that at least 3 hearts are selected. Here we do not use the generalized pigeonhole principle to answer this, as we want to make sure that there are 3 hearts, not just 3 cards of one suit. So 3 cards of one suit means it may have anything, but you are going to look at the heart here. Note in the worst case, we can select all the clubs, diamonds, and spades. 39 cards are that is 39 cards in all before selecting a single heart. So the next 3 cards will be all hearts. So we may need to select 42 cards to guarantee 3 hearts are selected. So this is just like a combination of whenever you are going to for the distribution and for the selection, we are supposed to use this technique. Now, applications of pigeonhole principle: during a month with 30 days, a baseball team player plays at least one game a day, but no more than 45 games. Show that there must be a period of some number of consecutive days during which the team must play exactly 14 games. So you can also not only baseball, but you can also schedule the IPL matches, or you may also schedule the T20 matches. Okay, so there will be a schedule like around 70 days or 80 days, okay, in which every team has to play at least 13 matches or 16 matches. So that there should be at least one gap between one match to other match. Like that, even that kind of distribution is there. There you can use this pigeonhole principle. Let AJ be the number of games played on or before jth day of the month. Then A1, A2, A3 and so on, A30 is an increasing sequence of distinctive positive integers with 1 less than or equal to AJ is less than or equal to 45. Moreover, A1 plus 14, A2 plus 14 and so on, A30 plus 14. So this is the series because at least 14 games must be played. Is also an increasing sequence of distinctive positive integers. AJ plus 14 is lies between 15 to 59, because you have to add 1 to 14 so that you will get minimum bound as 15, and 30 whenever you go for this 45 plus 15 where you will get to 59. That is the maximum bound. The 60 positive integers A1, A2 and so on, A30, A1 plus 14 plus A2 plus 14 and so on, A30 plus 14 are all less than or equal to 59. Hence, by pigeonhole principle, 2 of these integers must be equal. So there must be some I and j with AI is equal to AJ plus 14. This means that exactly 14 games were played by from the day j plus 1 to day I.